Hello, I'm Jenny Fern. Welcome to my library. I'm a chaotic neutral mechanical engineer who's really into permaculture and wants to talk about books. So let's talk about books. So I got a few books in my little free library today, and the one that I'm actually so excited about is this one. And I thought it would be fun to go through a ton of the books we've gotten recently donated to my little free library. I steward a little free library in my front yard. I help stock it full of books for different demographics, and I also, as they function usually, accept donations from anybody who visits the little free library. And every once in a while, I like to go through all of the books that have been added to the little free library by other people and read through the plot descriptions as a fun way to explore any new books that I might want to read. I have a ton to get through. I don't think I'm going to get through them all before I need to go eat dinner and before the sun sets. So the first book I have is Lori R. King's Justice Hall, a novel of suspense featuring Mary Russell and Sherlock Holmes. And the cover's pretty good. It's fun. Only hours after Holmes and Russell return from solving one murky riddle on the moor, another knocks on their front door. Literally. It's a mystery that begins during the Great War, when Gabriel Hugenfort died amidst scandalous rumors that have haunted the family ever since. But it's not until Holmes and Russell arrive at Justice Hall, a home of unearthly perfection set in a garden modeled on paradise, that they fully understand the irony echoed in the family motto, Justitia fortitudo mea est. Righteousness is my strength. A trail of ominous clues comprises a mystery that leads from an English hamlet to the city of Paris to the wild prairie of the New World. The trap is set, the game is afoot, but can Holmes and Russell catch an elusive killer, or has the murderer caught them? So this kind of seems like it's fan fiction. Am I wrong? I'm not interested in this. I honestly didn't really follow a lot of what was going on. Just that there's a mystery is really all I got from this. Not my bag. This book is also not my bag, but it is the weirdest combination of things. It is The 40-Day Sugar Fast by Wendy Speak, where physical detox meets spiritual transformation. And then I see on the back that it has to do with God. Would you give up sugar to experience the sweet presence of God in your life? Many of us think that if our bodies become healthier, then we'll be healthier. I think that's a literal fact. But a healthy body doesn't do us a lot of good if we are spiritually malnourished. Welcome to the 40-Day Sugar Fast, a process that begins with us giving Jesus our sugar and ends with Jesus giving us more of himself. Is it just me, or does this seem like Lent gone too far? This is like Lent fanfiction. It says, lose weight as you gain faith. Turn to the Most High instead of the next sugar high. Sorry if that is something that interests you. We're not compatible in our beliefs and our thoughts. And it's better if you leave now than if you stick around, because again, we're not compatible. The next one I have, I actually think this cover is very cool. I love the font. I love the gradient. It's called The Secrets of Harry Bright by Joseph Wambaugh. The place is the California desert. Mineral Springs, a sand-blown downscale outpost of glittering Palm Springs, with its exclusive country clubs, heavily guarded homes, and sun-tanned celebrities. 17 months before, Jack Watson, a handsome, wealthy young man, was incinerated in his father's Rolls Royce on a dark canyon road. But the bullet in his head proved it was no accident. You really can't hope for justice for your son after this much time's passed, Mr. Watson. I know, Sid. I don't want justice. Well, what do you want? Revenge, of course. A sliver of revenge. So why does Sidney Blackpool agree to take the case? Is it because Old Man Watson is dangling a 6-figure retirement job? Or because Sidney has always dreamed of swatting a ball on the world's most expensive golf turf? Or because of the death of his own son? Is there a common bond between fathers of lost sons which compels the detective to dig deeper and deeper to uncover a case that should have been left buried by the wind and the sand? A riveting police drama, Mr. Wambaugh's newest novel is also a moving story of a detective's search for the meaning of his son's death and of his own life. I'm just lurking. I'm lurking in the corner because I feel like I need to sneeze so badly and it's not happening. Okay. Hi. I'm continuing on from yesterday. I was interrupted pretty early on. I think I have a little bit more time today, so let's see how far I can get through these books. We had gone through this one, I'm pretty sure. I think I was actually in the middle of exploring who this guy is. Joseph Wambaugh, a 14-year veteran of the Los Angeles Police Department, lived in Palm Springs. So I think this is quite inspired by his life. There's a beautiful picture of this guy with a cactus. I'm not super interested in this, like the whole police, like action-y mystery kind of thing isn't exactly what I love to read, but I think that the design of this book is really cool. I have seen this. I think it's such an iconic cover. I think I had seen this book in a Books and Lala video where she reads books from the 1980s. Or it was like discussing books that were found in some magazine from the 1980s. I think this cover is iconic, honestly. I think the cover is iconic. I think the font is iconic. This is by Tabitha King. This is Stephen King's wife. Stunning image on the back. Love the facial expression. Honestly, that's very striking. Olivia and Pat appear to be the perfect couple. They are young, seemingly devoted, with 2 beautiful children and fulfilling careers. She as a gifted artist, he as a promising screenwriter. But now, Liv's marriage is coming apart and she does not quite know why. She has become a prisoner of her husband's ambitions and her wifely responsibilities. She is being forced to choose between the only way of life she loves and feels secure in, and the one that appears alien and threatening, with a husband she no longer feels she knows. To think and to heal herself, she goes with her young son in the dead of winter to their family cottage in a now deserted Maine summer community. It is there, in the one place Liv has always felt safe, that brutality and cruelty come into her life. 3 young hoodlums on a vicious treasure hunt through empty vacation houses have discovered their ultimate prize, and they have trapped her. They have her trapped. And Liv, horrifyingly alone, suddenly realizes that the evil in our society is never far beneath the surface, waiting to erupt. To save her own life and that of her son, she begins a desperate race against time to find within herself the strength and the means to thwart her tormentors and escape. Genuinely so interested in this. I don't experience a snowy winter. I've lived in California my entire life and in a part of the state that very, very, very rarely experiences snow. I feel like through osmosis, I have absorbed this like love of a snow book from Emmy Reeds because she has such a passion for snow, for glacier, and this just ice and cold and winter. And I just don't experience that really at all in my life, but the portrayal of it, and it has such an iconic experiential thing about it in writing. I just feel like I have this vicarious joy for like the the love and experience of winter and snow. So anyway, I'm definitely interested in this. This is Chosen Prey by John Sanford, and the cover is a little spooky, a little voyeuristic. The design, I think, is really amazing. Just how small this little image and how like evocative and like weird and creepy it is. Like, I really, really think that's cool. It also has a texture to it, which I think really like makes it pop. So anyway, I love the cover. Lucas Davenport returns in the most harrowing and unexpected prey novel yet. So I guess this is a series. The story of a congenial man and his most uncongenial obsession. Art history professor James Catar's hobby was taking secret photographs of women. At night, when he was all alone, he'd dream about them and indulge in his fantasies. Then, one day, his fantasy went too far. Now it's Catar's turn to become an obsession of Davenport's. And for both men, there's no turning back. I am very curious about that. And interestingly, I think one of the main characters in Saturn Run was also a photographer, if I'm remembering correctly. So I do really wonder if John Sanford has like a passion for photography. There's easy prey, certain prey, secret prey, sudden prey, mind prey, night prey, winter prey, silent prey. This is a whole bunch of, oh my god, there's so many preys. You have no idea. Not gonna put this aside for myself. If somebody picks this up, that's okay, but I am genuinely a little curious about this one. This is really not something that I would usually read. It has piqued me. There's another John Sanford. So somebody had just donated a bunch of John Sanford books. This is The Devil's Code also. This is an iconic cover. Look at this cutout. And then it's like a shattered monitor. And it's like a keyboard. Like, this is crazy silly, honestly. When Kid, artist, computer whiz, and professional criminal, learns of a colleague's murder, he doesn't buy the official story that a jittery security guard caught the hacker reading the files of a high-tech Texas corporation. It's not what his friends were looking for that got him killed. It's what he already knew. For Kid and Lou Ellen, infiltrating the firm was the first move. Discovering the secrets of its devious entrepreneur is the next. But it's more than a secret, it's a conspiracy. And it has landed Kid and Llewellyn in the crosshairs of an unknown assassin hellbent on conning the life out of the ultimate con artists. The plot summary has not sold me. The plot summary has definitely not sold me, but the cover and the fact that it's about like hackers, like the movie Hackers is so iconic to me. If this is anything like Hackers, I would want to read it. The back is just not giving like a lot. So anyway, I'm also going to possibly want to read this in the future, but I will put it back in the little free library and I won't like hold on to it in the desperate hopes that nobody takes it, you know. Now we have a Jack Reacher novel. What is this called? Oh, The Sentinel. God, this is the title. Good Lord. So we have a Jack Reacher novel by Lee Child and Andrew Child, which is perhaps the child of Child. This font is tiny. No. Reacher has no particular place to go and all the time in the world to get there. One morning he ends up in a town near Pleasantville, Tennessee. But there's nothing pleasant about the place. Oh my god. In broad daylight, Reacher spots a hapless soul walking into an ambush. It was 4 against 1, so Reacher intervenes with his own trademark brand of conflict resolution. I am so bored by this plot description, but the next line I'm actually kind of interested in. The man he saves is Rusty Rutherford, an unassuming IT manager, recently fired after a cyber attack locked up the town's data, records, information, and secrets. Rutherford wants to stay put, look innocent, and clear his name. So this is all about like an IT manager. My husband works in IT, So I'm like vaguely interested. There's no way I'm gonna read this. Does anybody else think the cover is terribly bad? I do. I almost feel like I did review this because the cover is extremely familiar. So let me see. It's been in my little free library for a while. It's kind of dirty. I might actually have to clean it because it may have gotten some like bugs, some bug on it. This is not super familiar. After the sudden death of his wife, Tom Kennedy believes a fresh start will help him and his young son, Jake, heal. A new beginning, a new house, a new town, Featherbank. But the town has a dark past. 20 years ago, a serial killer abducted and murdered 5 residents. I don't want to read about serial killers almost ever. Until Frank Carter was finally caught, he was nicknamed the Whisper Man, for he would lure his victims out by whispering at their windows at night. Just as Tom and Jake settle into their new home, a young boy vanishes. His disappearance bears an unnerving resemblance to Frank Carter's crimes, reigniting old rumors that he preyed with an accomplice. Now detectives Amanda Beck and Pete Willis must find the boy before it's too late. And then Jake begins acting strangely. He hears a whispering at his window. There's too many people. So there's a boy, there's a man, there's a boy, there's the detectives, I'm already kind of lost. I'm not gonna. I love this. The cover, stunning. Like, hello. The font, I must find this font. I love this font. The red, I think the cover is very good. Hired by a wealthy family to locate their teenage daughter, Boston PI Sonny Randall is tested by the parents' preconceived notion of what a detective should be. With the help of underworld contacts, she tracks down the runaway Millicent, who has turned to prostitution, rescuing her from a vicious pimp and finding herself at 34, the unlikely custodian of a difficult teenager when the girl refuses to return to her family. But Millicent's problems are rooted in much larger crimes than running away, and Sonny, playing the role of bodyguard, is caught in a shooting war with some very serious mobsters. Now Sonny must solve at least one murder, resolve a criminal conspiracy that reaches to the top of state government, and bring Millicent back into functional young womanhood. I am actually kind of curious about this. I usually wouldn't be very interested in this at all. I'm definitely not committing to reading this. I'm just vaguely interested. Okay, I got more books. I got a couple of books from JD Robb here. These are the most obscenely bad book covers I've seen in a while. There's a tiny man on both of them. They have a style. This is intentional. Like, it's like just a tiny little collage. And like, okay, we got like a thumbprint, and then it says attorney, New York. And then there's like a little man running with an umbrella. And like poker and cobblestones, and like, sure, it gives like a vibe, but it's like, I don't want to be too mean. I hate it though. My God, what is this? Oh, this is a romantic suspense. Okay, interesting. I definitely thought that this would be like action-y. Is there no plot summary? Oh my God, JD Robb is Nora Roberts. Oh my God, is this Nora Roberts? Horrible cover design. I feel less bad saying that now, just because I know that Nora Roberts will not be hurt by me saying the cover design is crazy. There's 2 like epigraph things at the beginning. Fame then was cheap, and they have kept it since by being dead. Dryden. Choked with ambition of the meaner sort by Shakespeare. I'm not interested. This one might be worse. Okay, fuzzy little man walking fast. Pearls. Lots of pearls. Police department. Chandelier. The craziest picture I have ever seen in my life, with the crazy effect. The fact that these images are combined together. This is like one of those really, really wacky puzzles that you might pick up from like Walmart. Like, this is insane. At the luxurious Rourke Palace Hotel, a maid walks into suite 4602 for the nightly turn down and steps into her worst nightmare. A killer leaves her dead. A killer leaves her dead? I just met her and she's already died? Strangled by a thin silver wire. He's Sly Yost, a virtuoso of music and murder, a hitman for the elite. Lieutenant Eve Dallas knows him well, but in this twisted case, knowing the killer doesn't help solve the crime, because there's someone else involved, someone with a more personal motive, and Eve must face a terrifying possibility. The real target may, in fact, be her husband, Rourke. Okay. The Grave Man by David Archer. Weirdly enough, I kind of like the cover. It's super cheesy to me. Like, it seems almost like a weird comic book that I would have gotten as a child for like free in like a cereal box or something. That's like kind of the vibe it's giving. It's very thin. It's very thin compared to everything else. So I have like a small temptation where I'm like, oh, thin book, not a big commitment. I could read anything if it's thin. Sam Pritchard was a cop and a good one until the bullets took out the joint of his right hip. Now he's trying to learn to live without being a cop and getting to know his neighbors, learning to walk again and even ride a motorcycle. Wow, love that. What a cool guy. Life is bearable, barely. But then he gets asked to find a missing child, and the lure of getting back into some kind of police work is too much for him to resist. When he teams up with his computer whiz, Indiana Perkins, he suddenly becomes one of the best investigators he's ever known. Wait, what? He suddenly becomes one of the best investigators he's ever known? He's found the missing child. Case closed. But it's thrown him right into the middle of something that may be a drug war, or could be a chance to stop the next 9/11. Oh wait, sorry. 9/11. Not September 11th. Sorry. There's no way out for Sam, so he's in for the ride of his life, but when the girl he's becoming fond of is suddenly drawn into the line of fire with her own little daughter, Sam is ready to forget all the rules and do whatever is necessary to win the day. It's USA Today best-selling author, but like something about the formatting on the back, like the dash is like 2 hyphens. That just makes me think that it's self-published. Not really my speed. I'm not interested in reading it. Tom Clancy's Op Center. Out of the Ashes. Something about this has thrown me quite a lot. First time in print? Is this a script? What is this? Okay, before 9/11, this time is actually 9/11, America was protected by a covert force known as Op Center. The charter was top secret and the team reported directly to the president. They used undercover operatives with SWAT capabilities to defuse crises around the world, and they were tops in their field. But after the World Trade Center disaster, in the interest of streamlining, Op Center was disbanded, leaving the country in terrible danger. But when terrorists detonate bombs in sports stadiums around the country, leaving men, women, and children dead or mutilated, the president executes an emergency order to reboot Op Center, a new Op Center capable of dealing with the high-tech crises of the 21st century. And there's a lethal one brewing in the Middle East. A renegade Saudi prince with ambitions of controlling the world's oil supply has an ingenious plot to manipulate America into attacking Syria and launching a war against Iran. Next, the prince would ignite a sleeper cell to attack the American homeland, resulting in a bloodbath unlike any other. Only the men and women of Op Center realize what is about to be unleashed. Only they have the courage to issue a warning no one wants to hear. But will anyone believe them? Sorry, this is created by Tom Clancy and Steve, I don't know. Written by Dick Couch and George Galdorisi? What is this weird collaboration? What do we mean created by? Whatever. I bet you Tom Clancy heads out there understand what the hell's going on. I have no idea. Brian's Return by Gary Paulson. I actually would love to read Hatchet again. One of like my crowning achievements as a youth was for a project for reading Hatchet, like an assigned reading assignment. I had to make a poster. And I don't know, I went so in on this poster. I got like a blue background, and then I had like a plastic sandwich bag, and I like taped that into a cutout of the poster, and I put little paperclip fish in there, and then I had like a paint stir stick with a magnet glued onto it so that while I was presenting, I could move the fish around. And then, yeah, I had the whole layout of his, like, camp. And I had a really fun time with that project because I made this little magnet fish thing. Anyway, this is a sequel, I think, to Hatchet. So, as millions of readers of Hatchet, the River and Brian... What? Oh, okay. As millions of readers of Hatchet, the River... and Brian's Winter know. So there's some more books in the series. Brian Robeson survived alone in the wilderness by finding solutions to extraordinary challenges. But now that he's back in civilization, he can't find a way to make sense of high school life. He feels disconnected, more isolated than he did alone in the North Woods. The answer is to return, to go back in. For only in the wilderness can Brian discover his true path in life and where he belongs. I kind of want to read this. I have 2 books set aside for myself from this adventure, and that is The Trap by Tabitha King. Genuinely, extremely excited about this. Some of the best cover design I've ever seen. It's very good. It's very good looking. And then Brian's Return by Gary Paulson, just because... you know, for the reminiscent, for the memories. Anyway, that is the gigantic book haul that I have from the Little Free Library. Almost all of these I'll be putting back. These are the only 2 that I'm actually going to hang on to for the moment. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, please consider sharing it with a friend who you think would also enjoy it. Consider liking and subscribing, and I will be back again soon.